Sometimes air conditioning sucks. Well, good afternoon, guys. It is quite a warm one. We are here with the dozers. Now, we're still at the contract job, and I think we're going to have to find a new air conditioning technician because the one that we've been using is just not much good. So Tiny 3's air conditioning has stopped working again. Now, if you want to see the video where we put a new compressor and all of that in it, I'll put a link in the description. I think it was vlog 135. Don't know what the problem is. It's obviously lost its gas, I'm pretty sure. Now, we didn't replace all the hoses or anything like that. It was just the compressor, TX valve, receiver dryer, and checked over a bit. So I'm gonna have to get in the hellhole, which is gonna be boiling hot, and have a look in there, see if I can find any evidence of leaks. I do finally have a bit of dye with me that I can put in the system. I didn't have any on me when I did it before. Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to this. It's going to be super hot. It's like a 36 degree day, and underneath the seat there is where all the hot stuff is. So yeah, I don't know. I might cook myself in there, but we'll see. Well, the old nemesis. Sometimes air conditioning sucks. There's some gas. This is the fun bit. Everything's a bit hot. Righto. What do we got here? Looks like the low pressure side. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. Everything's hot. Low pressure side there's got a bit of evidence of oil buildup. Or is that just a condensation attracting dust? Anyway, I'll have a bit of a look around here, see what I can find. I do have a bit of dye to put in, so that might be our option. But all this dust doesn't look like there's oil mixed in with it. It just looks like the condensation, because this return hose to the compressor is very, very cold, so it's always wet, and yeah, it just looks like it's attracted dust, so there's no oil really in that. The only other suspicious bit might be there's a bit of a got me again. There's a bit of a dark patch there, which I'm not sure whether something's dripped from up here or whether there's a slow leak in the hose. But I'll just have a look in the evaporator box, see if there's anything in there, but I might have to just put the dye shot in and come back and see if we can see any evidence of where it's leaking with the dye. Well, we've got some answers I think. I can see there's a heap of oil in the bottom of the pan where the evaporator sits, and it looks very much like, well, yeah, it looks like the evaporator's decided to give up the ghost. So this pipe attaches to the bottom of the evaporator, and when I move it, the hissing changes. So I think that's pretty conclusive that there's a problem there. But we might have a spare one at the main farm where we bought that second-hand cab. But I think Brad's just down there enjoying some shade, chasing up, see if we can get onto a new one. So anyway, let's keep investigating here and see what we find. So you might just be able to see, maybe, underneath, can't see that. You can see right there at the tip of my finger there's a little green bubble. So that's dropped down from the hose. So that's where the leak is. So right where the main pipe here going into it joins up with the core is where the issue is. So lovely. So we can get a new one, I think for about $1,700, but we can get it overnight. So that's going to be what we do, I think. Yeah, save mucking around. We just don't have the time to muck around pulling the old one off and finding out it maybe has a leak. So what this means is it wasn't actually my dodgy installation of the bits. This time Brad's just reminded me. I was going to say something like that. I don't want to sound cocky.
I'm an armchair critic now.
Yeah, he's just sitting down in the shade there slagging off at me. But anyway, so yes, there's been plenty of times where it is something I've done, but it's nice to know when it's not. Have fun with your open cab, semi-open cab.
They get a bit sweaty, the old ear muffs.
Yes. Hopefully by tomorrow it'll be cool again. Somehow every time one of these start up, it just makes you feel good. Alright, well I'm going to pack up, probably throw the drone up while I'm here. It's a fair way from actually where everyone else is, so it's like an hour away. So I'll, yeah, while I'm here, get some drone footage, and Brad will be taking the odd bit of footage on his GoPro. Hopefully he'll have his mind occupied. He'll probably be seeing pink elephants in there, getting a bit hot, have a frizzled brain. But anyway, work's got to keep going. Tomorrow I'll have to fly into town, get the parts, and hopefully get it all fitted and working before it gets too hot. So that'll be the plan. Well guys, we are back here with Tiny 3. We got the part. Now it's pretty amazing. We ordered this evaporator, what was it, about 3:30 yesterday afternoon, and it was in town at 8 o'clock this morning. So that is a good effort. So we need to make sure it does look like the right one, so that's a start. It's an expensive thing, so I'm definitely not gonna throw it around. Really don't want to have to do this again. But anyway, I'll just finish up pulling up, well, yeah, get started pulling the old one out. I've got to pull a heater core out as well. Now, it's actually not connected in this machine, so won't have to worry about any coolant or anything like that. So yeah, that'll make that a bit easier. But yes, I've just got to figure out. I don't think I've done an evaporator on one of these, so it does look fairly simple though, so I'll get into it. So how you do it is you have bolts that come from the top. That's how the heater core comes out, and then you've got to pull the heater core out first, and then you can pull the evaporator out. So there's 4 bolts there, and then this should all be loose. I've undone the fittings there. Yeah, hopefully it's just as easy as that and it comes out nice and easy. Let's see. It's just a really good feeling when it all looks like it's the right one. So it all seems to match up how we want it. But the other thing is, that's not going to do a lot of cooling. So yeah, I think this will be a lot better. I'm amazed that it was actually cooling the cab a little bit. So that'll be good to get a new one anyway. You can kind of clean them out, but they're a bit tricky in here. You can't really get to them. You have to pull the evaporator out to clean it, sort of thing. So they do have a cab filter at the back that, if theoretically no dirt should get into that, but for whatever reason over the years that's what's happened there. Anyway, I'll get to putting this one back in very carefully. Now's the time I get to finally test the little Makita vac pump. Now, in the video I did, vlog 135, as I mentioned earlier, I went to use this, but I didn't have the right fittings. So I've since got the right fittings. I've got my little cheap adapter so I can use Milwaukee batteries on it. It does the job at least. And probably should stop trying to do all this one-handed. So, all going well. Should vac down without a problem. Now there was a bit of gas in the lines, so I can't hear any hissing in case there's a major one. Nope, that looks all good. So I've got all our fittings tightened up. Should just be a matter of hook that to there, Helps if I point the camera at it. So I should just be able to hook that up to there, nice and tight. They've all got O-rings in there, so they don't need to be ringing tight. So it should be just a matter of that. Then hit the on switch and open up the ports here. There we go. So it's coming down nicely. Beautiful. Well, I actually got to go pick Brad up, so I'll leave that going. And I'll be back in a bit. Now, because there was a pretty substantial leak there, there will be a bit of oil that's leaked out of the system. I do have a bit there. I'm only going to put a little bit in. I don't need to put a lot in. So generally what I do there is when it's vacuuming down, I'll close off the ports and actually use the vac pump to suck the oil through. And yeah, it's a bit messy and a bit hard to do one-handed, so I will be putting oil in. That's the takeaway there. What happens a fair bit of the time is when people, usually when it was legal to just keep regassing machines, when you do have a leak, a little bit of oil comes out as well. And if you keep just gassing it without putting more oil in, eventually the system runs a bit dry, and that's where you can have premature failure of the compressor and things like that. Well, we've got gas going in again, hopefully the last time for a long time, but it is nearly got 2.5 kilos of gas in there now, so just getting ready to shut it off. It held vac for about 15 or 20 minutes. It was fine, so I'm pretty confident there's no leak. Righto. Righto, now we've got to test it. I do have to bolt all this back together before I can actually test it, otherwise it'll suck air from outside and blow it straight in and it won't be cold. So yes, I do have to put all this back together, but that shouldn't take too long. Righto, now time to test it. Starting to get a bit cool. Doesn't look too bad. Nice and cool. Good, eh? Oh, let's try that. Hopefully I don't have to do anything with the air conditioning for a good while. Alright, well I don't know what I'm doing now actually, but there's always something to do. So that might be it for the minute. We'll catch you in the next one.